welcome back to my channel for another video. So if you have been following me, you'll know that I predominantly focus on futures and indices. Okay, that's where my expertise is in futures and indices. So I predominantly trade the Dow, so the Dow Jones and the FTSE 100. So they're my two predominant futures and indices that I focus on. You can also trade the DAX, but these are the ones that I focus on. So this particular trade is an end of session. So it's an end of session trade on the US Open. Okay, but unfortunately for me, my broker would not allow me to buy big enough contracts on the Dow Jones, and that's what I wanted to initially trade, but I couldn't. They wouldn't allow me to buy big enough contracts, and would have meant that I had to stack my positions, which can be time consuming, and it's harder to manage them positions if you have stacked multiple positions. So I ended up taking a FTSE 100 trade. Now this week was a very, very difficult week. It was extremely volatile. So I took this position, and it was a long position. I was in this position for maybe 20 minutes, something like that. My normal time in positions is probably about 5 to 10 minutes. So this was a long trade. It was a long trade, but I knew because of the rally, it'd been rallying all week, and it was in a rally on that day. So I knew there had to be a sell-off. There had to be a sell-off. This is how the stock market works. You know, there had to be a sell-off after the initial rally. So I held the position. But do you know what? I could have got a lot more, but because of the volatility and how the market has been this week, I just took my profit very, very quickly. So I ended up walking away with about £323, I think it was, something like that. But again, guys, remember, for most people that's 3 days' wages. 3 days' wages. Okay, so as usual, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And if you want to contact me, you can contact me at my Instagram, and that's sambora.00. I also have a website, so the website is on my Instagram page if you want to check that out. And now, you know, I've got my own students as well, so you want to find out more about what we do in the Sambora family, have a look at my website. Hope you enjoyed this video. Okay guys, so this is a FTSE 100 trade, so UK 100 known on my broker. Now I've gone in early on this trade. Normally I wait till after 8 PM London time to take my position on the New York close, but this was a potential swing position, so I wasn't looking to potentially scalp this. This was looking at a swing, but I ended up, well, you'll see what happens. I've had to edit the video because it's a long video. It's a long trade. The trade alone lasts about 20 minutes, and you literally would just die of boredom if I allowed the whole video to play out. So as usual guys, all my trades, they're based on certain characteristics. They're based around my patterns. So I have a couple of patterns that I use, and that's it. That is my strategy. Patterns that I've identified over a long period of time, and my entry is based on price action and a number of different characteristics that you would associate with price action. So I took this position, and as I said, you know, my entry didn't have to be spot on because I was initially looking to swing this. And the reason that I was taking this as a swing was because there was a massive rally. I mean, you can see it there. There was a massive rally, and I knew that at some point, you know, there would have to be a sell-off, because this is how the stock market works. A rally can't last forever. Same as, you know, a dip can't last forever. So basically what I was doing, I was shorting the rally. That's what I was doing. And it was a long trade, and as I said, you know, this was a swing position. I didn't take this position as a scalp position. If I took it as a scalp position, I would have waited till after 8 PM. I normally take my last scalp position around about, I don't know, maybe 10 past, quarter past 8, and then I'm out. You know, within 5 minutes I'm out. You know, my typical trades, you know, time in a position is usually about 5 minutes, so that would be quite typical. So this is actually a long trade for me, but it is a swing trade, so you must be able to recognize the fact that, you know, the reason that I went in before 8 o'clock was this was a potential swing, but I ended up closing it out because I just didn't like how it was performing, and I thought that there would have been a reversal, so I literally just took a small profit out of this. But this is another style of trading that I'm going to introduce to my students, because, you know, up until this point it's all been scalp trading, And I'm quite conscious of the fact that you cannot bombard your students with masses of information, because, you know, especially if they're new to my strategy, it's going to become confusing, and they're gonna make the process more complex, even though it isn't. They will make it more complex because they'll start confusing the difference between a swing trade and a scalp, just in terms of the characteristics and what we're looking at. So that's what this is, and it was such a slow trade this was. Now I'm assuming that there was not a great deal of volume. So this is Friday afternoon in the US, so obviously the stock market is closed over the weekend, and again, you know, the volume is just not there. Very low volume, and that's the reason that this trade is so slow. I actually thought at some points that the stock market had halted. Obviously I knew it didn't, but if I didn't know any better, that's exactly what I thought would have happened. So again, you know, guys, this is why I predominantly focus on futures and indices. You know, it gives you a much more diverse approach in the stock market. So as I said before, you know, my students and myself, we trade the European Open at 8 a.m. We trade the New York Open at 2:30, and we trade the New York close at 8 p.m. So all London time, 8 a.m, 2:30 in the afternoon, and 8 p.m. all London time. So it gives you a diverse approach, okay? And I always say, you know, there's some people that cannot trade the US Open that live in Europe because they're working. So if you cannot trade the US Open, it gives you more opportunities, you know, to trade futures. So you can trade in the morning before you go to work, or you can trade in the evening. So you can definitely trade one of these times, if not two of them, for a lot of people. And if you're lucky enough to be a full-time trader like me, you can trade 3 times a day, and that's exactly what I do. I trade 3 times a day. So this was a long, slow, painful trade this was, and that's the reason that I end up actually just taking a small profit, because I swear I was nearly falling asleep. You know, I don't like too much volatility because I am a conservative trader by nature, but at the same time, this was like watching paint dry. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. So again, you know, this is, I think this approach is very effective. It's very effective, especially a lot of you guys out there, you know, you've got families and it's difficult to get the time to trade. So yeah, so I'm gonna take this position now and close it pretty soon. As I said, guys, I've had to edit this video because the trade alone lasted 20 minutes and you wouldn't have listened to me. So there we go, I'll take that profit. So there you have it. Okay, so 300 odd pound for 20 minutes work. Okay, so guys, I trade 3 times a day. I trade the European Open at 8 a.m, I trade the New York Open at 2:30, and I trade the New York close at 8 p.m, all London time. So I aim for £300 roughly, usually, per trade, 3 times a day. So I'm looking at between £900 and £1,000 every day. Okay, so it all adds up. So typically 5k a week, 20k a month. It's a nice lifestyle. It's a very nice lifestyle. It really is. And I'm a conservative trader. So I'm conservative and I'm making 5k a week. It's achievable. So if you want to find out more about what it is that I do and what my family do, when I say family, you know, my community, I have a financial community, and it's really nice to be part of a community. I used to be. Check out my website. As I said, you know, the link is on my Instagram page. So that's it. You know, I'm gonna start knocking these videos out twice a week. That's what I meant to say. Okay guys, so hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, and I'm saying this to my students now, you have not failed until you have given up. So don't give up. That's it. Don't give up and you will not fail. Have a good week.